Today, today we are going to discuss solving rational equations. Okay, to recall, when we say equation, it is an equation that contains one or more rational expressions. So take note that there should be a rational expression, okay, or rational expressions, okay, and we can say that it is a rational equation when, of course, there's an equal sign there. Okay. Now, if the rational equation is in the form of proportion, then we can solve using the cross product property. Okay. Now, it is better that we have to recall the concept of the LCM, or the least common multiple. So for a review, okay, find the LCM of x, 2x squared, and 6. To solve this one, we have first tried to recall the concept of prime factorization. So in other words, each not each numbers would be factorized based on a prime number factorization. Okay, so first we have x. What will be the factor of x? So since it is already in the simplest form, then the factor of x is x and 1. So we are not going to write 1 anymore, but instead we have x. Next we have 2x squared. Now take note that on the first number we have x. Now the question is x a factor of 2x squared? The answer is yes, because when we have 2x squared divided by x, okay, there is a specific number, or there is a specific expression that can be derived. So in other words, x is a factor of 2x squared. Now, if we divide 2x squared by x, then there is another x that can be derived. So in other words, another x, okay, as we can see here, we have x squared. That means there are 2x being multiplied. Okay, and of course, another factor is the 2. So if we multiply x times 2, the answer is 2x squared. And then the other number is 6. Now, we have this one. Is x a factor of 6? The answer is no, it is not a factor. X is not a factor of 6. Is 2 a factor of 6? The answer is yes, because 6 divided by 2, okay, there is a prime, or there is an integer. Okay. So 2 is a factor of 6. And what number that we have to multiply by 2 to get 6? Or 6 divided by 2, the answer is 3. Okay, now let's try to find the LCM. Now, to find the LCM of x, 2x squared, and 6, we just bring it down the elements in every column. So we have x, okay, x, another x, then we have 2, and we have 3. Now, the LCM of these 3 algebraic expressions, we are just going to multiply these numbers. So x times 2 times 3. So x times x squared, times 2, that is 2x squared, times 3, that is 6x squared. So the LCM is 6x squared. Another example, find the LCM of p squared minus 4p and p squared minus 16 rather. So concept of prime factorization, then we have first the p squared minus 4p. Now, what would be, now as we can see, p squared minus 4p is taken as one term. Now try to investigate if we have a common factor of p squared and negative 4p. Okay, so what is the common between p squared and negative 4p? Obviously, the p is the common factor. Okay, so p. So p squared divided by p is p, and negative 4p divided by p is 4. So the other factor would be p minus 4. So if we multiply p to p minus 4, the answer is p squared minus 4p. So p times p squared, p times negative 4, the answer is negative 4p. Okay, another. P squared minus 16. Now, is p a factor of p squared minus 4 minus 16? Now, take note, this is again taken as one term. So we could not get only the factor of p squared or 16. This should be taken as 1. So, since p is not common to negative 16, therefore, p is not a factor of p squared minus 16. Okay, so investigate again. P squared, negative 16. Since p squared, it is a perfect square, and 16 is a perfect square, then we could have a factor that is a difference of two squares. So the first, okay, is p minus 4 a factor of p squared minus 16? The answer is yes. Okay, so p minus 4. So square root of p squared is p, square root of 16 is 4. So as I said, it is a difference of two squares. The other factor of p squared minus 16 is p plus 4. So if we multiply p minus 4 and p plus 4, the answer is p squared minus 16. Then we get the LCM. Okay, just bring down the elements in the column. So we have this one. So bring down the p minus 4, and p plus 4. If we multiply these numbers, we get the LCM. And the product of p minus 4, and p plus 4 is actually that one. Okay, if we are going to simplify this one, the correct answer must be p cubed minus 16p. So that's the LCM. So this is not yet the simplified one. This is the expanded form. So if we multiply p times p minus 4 times p plus 4, the answer is p cubed minus 16p. Okay. Another. Multiply 5x over 3y times 2x squared over 7. So multiply. Now, since this is a form of fraction, the rules in multiplying fraction is we have to multiply the numerator times numerator, then denominator times denominator. So in this case, we just multiply 5x times 2x squared. So 5 times 2 is 10. X times x squared is x cubed. Then on the denominator, 3 times 7 is 21. And since we don't have y here, so just copy the y. So in other words, the product of 5x over 3y and 2x squared over 7 is 10x cubed over 21y. Okay, another. Let's start to multiply x squared minus 9 times 4 over x plus 3. Now, in this case, okay, we are not just going to simply multiply the numerator, denominator. First, okay, let's try to investigate the factors. Okay, is this factorable? Okay, so x squared and 9. Remember, the x squared is a perfect square, and 9 is a perfect square because 3 times 3 equals 9. So let's try to factor the x squared minus 9. And the factor of that, that's the difference of 2 squared. We have x plus 3 and x minus 3. So if we multiply x plus 3 and x minus 3, the answer is x squared minus 9. Another, is this factorable? Okay, so I guess that's already in the simplest form. So let's just copy the 4 over x plus 3. Now, investigate. Are there common? Yes, there are. There is a common term. We have the x plus 3. The x plus 3. Since the other x plus 3 is in the denominator, then we can divide out the x plus 3. So, this is in the numerator and the other is in the denominator. If we divide that one, the answer is 1. So, we just crush it out. Cool. So, x plus 3 divided by x plus 3 is equal to 1. Now, what remains is the x minus 3 and the 4. In this case, we just multiply the x minus 3 by 4. So, distributive property, x times 4 is 4x, then negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. So, the answer is 4x minus 12. Okay, another. We have to multiply the quantity x squared minus x minus 30 all over x minus 1 and x squared minus 1 all over 4x squared minus 20x minus 20. Now, in this case, let's try to investigate. Okay, are there any common factors between x squared, x, and 30? None. Because 30 has no factor of x, or has a common factor of x. So in other words, this is a trinomial. Now, we have to factor out the trinomial. So x squared minus x minus 30. Okay, so the concept is that what would be the two numbers that if we multiply, the answer is negative 30. But if those numbers will be added, the answer must be 1. So I repeat, what are the two numbers that if we multiply, the answer is negative 30? And if we add those numbers, the answer is 1. The answer is 5 and negative 5 and positive 5 and negative 6. Okay, so that's it. We have, negative 6 times 5, the answer is negative 30. But if we are going to add, negative 6 plus 5 equals negative 1. And then just copy the x. So those are the factors. And since the denominator in this term is already in the simplified form, then just copy it. Multiply. So here, we have x squared minus 1. So 1 is a perfect square number, and x squared is a perfect square number, so that is difference of 2 squares. So because they are difference of 2 squares, the factor would be x minus 1 and x plus 1. How about the denominator? Now, are there any common factors in each term in the denominator? Okay. Yes, there is a common factor, which is 4. So, negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5, and negative 24 divided by 4, the answer is negative 6. So 4 is a common factor. So what remains is x squared minus 5x minus 6. So take note that what remains if we remove the common factor 4 to each terms is x squared minus 5x minus 6. So 6. What would be the numbers that if we multiply, the answer is negative 6. But if we add those numbers, the answer must be negative 5. The answer is negative 1 and what else? Positive 1 and negative 6 rather. So, now, try to investigate whether there are common factors in the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so in the numerator, we have x minus 6, which has a common in the denominator, x minus 6. So, divide it out. Another, do we have a common in the denominator in this term, x plus 5? None. So, wala siyang common. Another, do we have common factor in the denominator with this x minus 1? Yes. That one. And this one. Is there any common factor in the denominator with this term? Yes. So what remains is x plus 5 and 4. So, since x plus 5 is the numerator and 4 is the denominator, then the final answer is x plus 5 all over 4. Okay, now the concept of LCM and the concept of multiplication is very important in solving rational equations. Let's have an example. Solve 5 over x minus 2 equals 3 over x. Check your answer. Now, take note that we have 5 over x minus 2, which is a rational expression, and it is equated to another rational equation, another rational expression, which is 3 for x. Step 1, we have cross product. We have to use the cross product because we don't have any common factor in the numerator and the denominator. So we just to multiply 5 and x in the denominator, then x minus 2 in the denominator multiplied to 3. So we just cross product. In other books, that is cross multiplication. Okay, so as you can see here, it's color red. The numbers in the same color must be multiplied. Okay, so 5 times x, that's 5x, equals x minus 2 times 3. Okay, what will happen? We are going to distribute 3 in the right side. So, the 3 will be distributed inside. Okay, so we have, so 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So 5x equals 3x minus 6. Now, we are going to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay, remember that our target, we have all the values, all those numbers with the same variables we place on the other side. Okay, so we have to subtract 3x from both sides. So 5x minus 3x, here 3x minus 6 minus 3x. So that is a rules or a property of an equation, that if we subtract both sides of the equation, okay, they have this same, not the same, but they still remain equal. So 5x minus 3x equals 2x. And then 3x minus 6 minus 3x, since we are going to subtract 3x, what remains is negative 6. Now, take note that we are going to get the value of x. Okay, the value of x. The target is we have to get the value of x. Now, common question, what would be the number, let's say this is a number, what is the number that if we will multiply to 2, the answer is negative 6. Now I repeat, what would be the number that if we will multiply it to 2, the answer is negative 6? The answer is negative 3. So, if we multiply negative 3 by 2, the answer is negative 6. So, let's try to check. From the original equation, 5 over x minus 2 equals 3 over x. Substitute negative 3 in our x. Okay. So, we have 5 over negative 3 minus 2. That's equal to 5 over negative 5. And 5 over negative 5, or 5 divided by negative 5, the answer is negative 1. What about here? 3 over negative 3. So 3 divided by negative 3, the answer is negative 1. Since the left side and the right side are equal, then we could say that the value of the x is negative 3. Another. Okay. Solve 4 over h plus 1 equals 2 over h, and then check your answer. Now, in this case, we can use the cross products. So, cross products. So, 4 multiplied by h, that's 4h. And we have h plus 1 multiplied by 2. So, that's 1. And then we distribute 2 with h plus 1. So, we have that. 4h. And then 2 times h is 2h. 2 times 1 is 2. Then, subtract 2h from both sides. So, 4h minus 2h, the answer is 2h. Then 2h plus 2 minus 2h, the answer is 2. Then the question, again, to get the value of h, we are going to consider h as a number. So what would be the number that if we multiply to 2, the answer is 2? Again, what would be the number that if we multiply it to 2, the answer is 2? And the correct answer is 1. Okay, or divide both sides by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 2h divided by 2, that's h, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Or just simply, what would be the number that you have to multiply by 2? You will get 2. The answer is 1. Now let's try to check. Substitute 1 to h in both left side and right side. Okay, so here, 4 over 1 plus 1, because 1, okay, from this one. So 1 plus 1 equals 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. What about here? 2 over 1, 2 divided by 1 equals 2. So the left side and the right side are equal. Therefore, we can say that 1 is the value of h. Another, let's have solve 1 over n equals 3 over n plus 4. Then check your answer. In this case, it's quite easy. we have just to use the cross products. So numerator times denominator. Denominator on the left side will be multiplied to the numerator on the right side. So it's just this one. So 3 times n is 3n. 1 times n plus 4. So we have this one. And then just distribute 1, okay, to n plus 4. So we have just that answer. 3n minus 3n equals n plus 4. Now, we have to subtract n from both sides of the equation. So, minus n minus n. So, 3n minus n equals 2n. And n plus 4 minus n equals 4. So, we have 2n, that 2n equals 4. So, what would be the number? Go here, n. Let's consider this one as a number. So, what number that if we multiply it by 2, the answer is 4? Okay, the answer is 2. Or, divide both sides by 2. So, if we divide this one by 2, and then divide this one by 2, so 2n divided by 2 equals n, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, let's take a check. Okay, they are the same. So 1 over 2, that's 1 half. 3 over 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Then 3 divided by 6, reduced to lowest term, that's equal to 1 half. And they are equal. Therefore, 2 is the value of n in the equation. Another example, let's have 21 over x minus 7, it's equal to 3 over x. So, cross multiply. Then we have 21 times x, that's 21x. And then x minus 7 times 3. Then distribute 3, okay. Then we have 21x equals 3 times x, that's 3x. 3 times negative 7, it's negative 21. Okay, so we have 21x equals 3x minus 21. Then subtract 3x from both sides. So 21x minus 3x. And then we have 3x minus 21x. Wrong. 3x minus 21 minus 3x. The answer is 18x equals negative 21. Now, divide both sides by 18. Okay, the answer is negative 7 over 6. Okay, since negative 21 and 18, okay, they don't have, if we divide negative 21 by 18, it will not get an integer number. So, since the quotient of negative 21 and 18 is not an integer, then we will reduce it into the simplest form of the fraction. So, negative 21 over 18 is just the same with negative 7 over 6. Now, let's try to check. Okay. And they are the same. So take note that x is replaced by negative 7 over 6. So this red one. Okay, some rational equations contain sum or difference of rational expressions. To solve these, you must find the LCD of all the rational expressions in the equation. Now, what is LCD? The least common divisor. Now, the LCD is just the LCM of the denominator. Now, take note that, I repeat, LCD is similar to getting the LCM of the denominator. Let's have an example. Solve 2 over x plus 1 plus 3 over x equals 5 over 2x. Now take note, it's different from the previous examples because a rational expression is added by another rational expression, which is equal to another rational expression. So we cannot simply cross multiply. Okay. Now, to solve this one, step 1, let's determine first the LCD. Okay. So, include every factor of the denominator. So, what is the factor x plus 1? That's x plus 1. What's the factor of x? That's x. And then what's the factor of 2x? That's 2 times x. Since x is a common factor to 2x, then we're just going to have 1x as a factor. So the LCD is 2x times x plus 1. Step 2, multiply both sides by the LCD. So 2x times the quantity x plus 1 will be multiplied to both sides of the equation. So something like this. So you have 2 over x plus 1 plus 3 over x equals 5 over 2x. Multiply both sides by the LCD. Okay. Then, distribute the LCD to the left side since they have an operation of plus. So that one. So you have this one is multiplied by this one, and this one is multiplied to this one. So that's it. Now, try to see whether in this side, are there any common in the numerator and the denominator? Common factor or common term? Yes, there's a common term, which is the x plus 1. What about this side? This portion? Are there any common terms or factor in the numerator and denominator? X is the common. What about in the right side? Are there any common factors in the numerator and denominator? Yes, 2x is common. So, simplify and solve. We have to divide out the common factors. So, divide out, divide out, divide out. As you can see, okay, to emphasize the common factors that you should divide out, I make it in another color. So the red one, the blue one, and the green one. Multiply what's remain. Let's simplify. So 2x times 2 is equal to 4x plus 2 times x plus 1 times 3 is equal to 6x plus 6. And then x plus 1 times 5 is equal to 5x plus 5. Okay, so 2x times 2 is this one. 2 times 3, that's 6 times x plus 1. And then 5 times the quantity x plus 1. So distribute 2x times 2, that's 4. 6 times x, that's 6. Then 6 times 1 equals 6. Then 5 times x equals 5x. 5 times 1 is equal to 5. Okay. So you have 4x plus 6x plus 6 equals 5x plus 5. Combine the like terms. So as you can see here, I mark red fonts to those who are similar terms. Okay, and then the 6 and 5. So in this case, we're just going to subtract both sides by negative 5x minus 6. Okay. So for x plus 6, that's 10x, then 5. Okay. Subtract both sides by 5x and 6. So that's what I said. Okay. We have to subtract 5x and 6 to both sides. Okay. So if we subtract 5x by 5x, that's 0. Then 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Okay. 10x minus 5x, that's equal to 5x. Then 6 minus 6 equals 0. So we have 5x equals negative 1. So divide both sides by 5. So divide by 5. 5. The answer is negative 1/5. Let's try to check. Checking is very important because we can be assured if the value of our x is extraneous or not. When I say extraneous, if we are going to substitute the value that we have get of our in our x, the answer would be it's either undefined or very erroneous. Okay, so check. We have to substitute x by negative 1/5. So, and then simplify, simplify again. Okay, what happens? So 10 over 4 minus 15 over 4. So in your lesson in grade 4, make it when we are going to operate, if we are going to subtract dissimilar fractions, we make it into similar ones. Okay, and they are equal. Therefore, our value of x is negative 1/5. Another example, let's have 4 over x minus 3 over x squared equals 1. Now take note that we could not simply use the cross multiplication because in our left side, the rational expression is being subtracted by another rational expression. Okay, so to do that, we are going to get the LCD. Okay, the LCD, okay, we have to include all the factors of denominator. Okay, x, the factor of x is x, the factor of x squared is x times x, and the denominator here is 1, and that's just 1. Okay, so the factor of the LCD between x and x squared is x squared. So multiply both sides by the LCD. So the LCD is being multiplied to this side and to this side. Then distribute the left sides. So x squared is multiplied here minus the x squared is being multiplied here. So that's this one. And of course, x squared times 1 is x squared. Then, try to investigate whether there are common factors in the numerator and the denominator in each term. So you have x squared, x in the denominator, x squared, in the numerator, another x squared in the denominator. So, we can now simplify, divide out the common factors. Okay, I'm sorry. This must be, the common, we have x squared and then x. So the one here, meaning there is remaining 1x, being, since it is x squared, the x squared divided by x is equal to x. Okay, may natira pang isang x. Here, x squared divided by x squared, that's equal to 1. Then simplify. So dito, may natira pang x. Kasi dalawang x, isa lang ang dinivide out. So x times 4 is 4x. Dito wala nang natira. Kasi dito sa baba, x squared din siya. So, what remains is 1 times 3. That's negative 1 times 3 equals negative 3. Then, simplify. Subtract both sides by x squared. So, ganito yung mangyayari. And then, multiply by negative 1. So, ganito yung nangyayari. What's the purpose why we multiply it by negative 1? We want to make the x squared a positive 1. So, x squared plus 4x minus 3 is just equal to 0. It's just the same with x squared minus 4x plus 3. So, we just multiply this portion with negative 1. So, negative times negative, that's positive. Positive times negative, that's negative. And negative times negative equals positive. Now, we are going to get the factors of x squared minus 4x plus 3. So, the factor, so we have x minus 3 and x minus 1. Now, take note that this is one term and this is another term. So, if we multiply those terms, the answer is 0. Now, remember that in the concept of 0, okay, if we multiply one factor by 0, the answer is 0. So any number being multiplied by 0 is always equal to 0. So if we equate x minus 3 to 0, what would be the value of x that if we subtract it by 3, the answer is 0? So, ulitin ko, what would be the number, okay, what would be the number that if we are going to subtract it by 3, the answer is 0? Yes, the answer is 3. Another, if we are going to equate this side by 0, so what would be the number that if we will subtract it by 1, the answer is 0? Okay, what would be the number that if we subtract it by 1, the answer is 0? Yes, the answer is 1. So the values of x are 3 and 1. Now, as you can see here, there are two values of x. Let's try to check whether those are the real values or the real solution of our equation. Okay, if we're going to substitute 3 in the equation, the answer is correct. Another side, the answer is correct. They are equal. Therefore, the values of x are 3 and 1. Another example, we have 2 over a plus 1 plus 1 over a plus 1 equals 4 over a. In this case, we cannot simply use the cross multiplication because we have a rational expression being added by another rational expression, and they are equal to another rational expression. So we have to get the LCD. So a plus 1, and a. In this case, the factor of a plus 1 is a plus 1. And they are the same with the a plus 1. So the LCD is a times a plus 1. Okay, then we are going to multiply both sides by the LCD. So parang ganun lang siya. Then distribute. Then investigate whether there are common. Then simplify and solve. Divide out the common factors. And then multiply or simplify. Then distribute 4. Then subtract 4 and 3a on both sides. Then we have negative 4 equals a. In other words, the value of a is negative 4. Check. And the left side is equal to the right side. Therefore, the value of a is negative 4. Another example, we have 6 over j plus 2 minus 10 over j equals 4 over 2j. Find the LCD. Okay. And then, okay, why do we have this LCD? So, j plus 2, okay, the factor of j plus 2 is j plus 2 and 1. The factor of j is j, and the factor of 2j is 2 and j. So, since we have 2j's here, then we're just going to use 1j, then 2, then x plus 2. Then multiply both sides by the LCD. So something like this. This one is multiplied to both sides of the equation, the left side and the right side. Then distribute. Something like this. Then investigate whether they are common. Then divide out the common terms. Now, take note here, by the way, the 2 should not be cancelled out since j lang ang kinancel. J lang kasi dito. So, si j lang, by the way. Let me make it clear to you that 2 here is not being divided out. Only the j portion. Okay. Then simplify. So, bakit naging 12j siya dito? Because 2j times 6 is 212j. Then, since ito, na-divide out na, so, denominator is 1 na lang. Then, minus, yung sinabi ko kanina, 2 na lang to dito. Diba? 2 na lang to dito. Now, what happened here? Di ba kasabi ko kanina, may 2 pa ditong natira. So 2 times j is 2j. Then 2 times 2 equals 4. The 10 here is from here. Okay, and then we have 4 times j is 4j. Then 4 times 2, that's positive 8. Now, distribute 10. Okay, so we have 12j. Negative 10 times 2j is negative 20j. Negative 10 times positive 4 is negative 40. Then we have to combine like terms. So 12j minus 20j is equal to, we have negative 8j. However, may 4j kasi dito. So, we have to subtract both sides by negative 4j and 40. So here, we have to subtract it by 4j. So, di ba kanina dito is negative 8. So, negative 8j minus 4j is equal to 12j. And then, kanina, sinabi ko, you have to subtract it 40 by both sides. So, negative 40 plus 40 is equal to 0. So, kaya natira na lang dito, negative 12j. Dito, we'll subtract 4j. So, 4j minus 4j is 0. Then, we subtract 8 by negative 40. So, 8 minus negative 40 is 48. Okay. Then, of course, what number that we have to multiply by negative 12? The answer is 48. Okay, what number that if we multiply by negative 12, the answer is 48. The answer is negative 4. And let's try to check whether it is extraneous or not. Okay. And they are equal. Therefore, the value of j here is negative 4. Now, extraneous solutions may be introduced by squaring both sides in an equation or by multiplying both sides of an equation by a variable expression. Okay, para mas maintindihan, we are going to have another example. Okay, solve 2 over x plus 1 equals x minus 6 all over x squared minus 1, and then identify any extraneous solution. So step 1, find the LCD. By the way, it's not the LCD. Since in the left side of the equation, okay, is we only have one rational expression being equated to another rational expression. So both sides, tag-iisa lang ang mga rational expressions, then we can use the cross product or cross multiplication. So cross multiply to both sides. So 2 times x squared minus 1. And then you have x plus 1 times x minus 6. Distribute 2 on the left side, then multiply the right side. Ito. So 2 times x squared, that's 2x squared. 2 times negative 1 is 2. Here, we have to distribute the x plus 1 to both x minus 6. And then simplify. So, x plus 1 times x is x squared plus x. Then, x squared, x plus, parang ganito siya ang mangyayari, guys. So, the x, parang ganito lang. The FOIL method. Okay, so x times x is x squared. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. Then x times negative 6 is negative 6x plus 1 times x is equal to x. So negative 6x plus 1 is equal to negative 5x. So yan lang yan. And then, subtract x squared from both sides. Add 5x and 6 to both sides. So, we subtract both sides by x squared and then add both sides by by positive 5x and 6. So, ano mangyayari? Okay, ito lang yung mangyayari. Subtract x squared to both sides. So, x squared minus x squared, that's 0. And then, negative 5x plus 5x, the answer is 0. Then negative 6 plus 6 equals 0. 2x squared minus x squared, the answer is x squared. 2, negative 2 plus 6, the answer is 4. Now, because we don't have any common or similar terms to 5x, then we are just going to copy the 5x. So that's why we have x squared plus 5x plus 4, which is equal to 0. Then factor the quadratic expression. So, the factor is x plus 1 and x plus 4. So, parang ganito lang yung guys. What would be the factor of 4? What would be the number that if we multiply, what are the two numbers that if we are going to multiply them, the answer is 4. And if we add those numbers, the answer is 5. Parang ganun lang. So, take note that the condition is that the two numbers, if we multiply, the answer is 4. But if those numbers will be added, the answer is 1. So the answer is 4 and 1. So 1 and 4. Then, since it is equal to 0, if we are going to equate these sides by 0, so what would be the number that you are going to add by 1? The answer is 0. The answer is negative 1. And then here, what would be the number that if you will add by 4, the answer is 0? The answer is negative 4. Therefore, the values of our x, we could have negative 1 or negative 4. Take note, it could be negative 1 or negative 4. Now, let's try to determine whether the two numbers are extraneous solution or not. So we are going to substitute negative 1. Now, here's what happened. So if we're going to substitute x by negative 1, so 2 over negative 1 plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. And this is undefined. On the other side, we have negative 1 minus 6 equals negative 7. Negative 1 squared is equal to 1, positive 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Again, it is undefined. So since the two numbers are undefined, then we cannot say that they are equal with each other. In other words, negative 1 is an extraneous solution. What about on this portion? What about if we are going to substitute another number? Okay, let's substitute the negative 4. And in this case, the left side is equal to the right side. Therefore, we could say that because 2 over 0 and negative 2 over 0 are undefined, we only have negative 4. A negative 1 is not the solution. We only have negative 4 as a solution to the equation. So the only solution is negative 4 and negative 1 is an extraneous solution. Okay, let's have this one. 3 over x minus 7 equals x minus 2 over x minus 7. So step 1, cross product. Then distribute 3 to the right side, on the right side, and multiply the left side. Then subtract 3x from both sides and add 21 to both sides. Then factor the quadratic expression. Okay, since we use the zero product property, we can now have the value of our x could be 7 or 5. Okay, let's try to check. Okay, 5. If we are going to substitute 5 to both sides of the equation in our variable, they have the same values in the left side and the right side. What about the 7? In this case, 7 can produce an undefined numbers. So because 3 over 0 and 5 over 0 are undefined, 7 is not a solution. So the only solution is 5 because 7 is an extraneous solution. Okay, what about this one? X plus 1 over x minus 2 equals 4 over x minus 3. To solve, cross product, and then distribute 4 the right side, then multiply the left side. Then subtract 4 from both sides and add 8 to both sides. So parang dito na tayo na kumukuha. 4x, subtract 4x, then add 8. So the left side becomes 0, and the left sides we have x squared minus 6x plus 5. Then factor out. Okay, then we use the zero product property. So in other words, the values of x could be 1 or 5. Now let's try to check whether these values are the solutions or one of them are extraneous. Okay, if we substitute 1 to the variables, the left side becomes equal to the right side. But if we are going to substitute 5 to the variable, they have the same. Therefore, 1 and 5 are the solutions. And there are no extraneous solutions in this case. Another, we have 9 over x squared plus 2x equals 6 over x squared. Cross product. Then distribute 6 on the left side, multiply the right side. Then subtract 9x squared from both sides of the equation, multiply through with negative 1. So, ito, because this is 9x squared, we subtract both sides by 9x squared. Okay, dito, 6 times x squared is 6x squared. Now, kasi ang nangyari dito, remember that we have to subtract both sides by 9x squared. Therefore, 6x squared minus 9x squared is negative 3x squared. Right? Now, as what I said, our target is that the left side of the equation, the x squared there should be positive. So, we have to multiply both sides by negative 1. So, kanina, okay, isulat na lang natin. So 6x squared is 6x squared plus 12x. But take note that we have to subtract both sides by 9x squared. So dito, 6x squared minus 9x squared, magiging siyang, I will write it here, may siyang negative 3x squared plus 12x. So our purpose, our target, the 3x squared, the negative 3x squared becomes positive. That's why we have to multiply both sides by negative 1. So negative times negative, that becomes positive. And negative, then positive times negative equals negative. So like this one. Then factor out. So since 3x squared and negative 12x, they have a common factor of 3x. Then we have these factors. Then using the zero product property, okay, so what would be the number that we have to multiply by 3? Okay, what number that we have to multiply by 3 becomes 0? The answer is 0. So what would be the number that we are going to subtract it by 4? The answer is 0. Okay, so we have 0 or positive 4. And then, let's try to substitute. In this case, as we can see here, if we're going to substitute 0 in the variables, we have 0 squared is equal to 0. 2 times 0 equals 0. Therefore, the denominator is 0. Here, 0 squared equals 0. And both denominators are 0. Therefore, they are undefined. What about this one? We are going to substitute. So 9 divided by 24 is equal to 3.75. 6 over 16 is equal to 3.75. And they are equal. Therefore, since 9 over 0 and 6 over 0 are undefined, 0 is not a solution. The only solution is 4 because 0 is an extraneous solution. Let's have problem-solving application. Copy machine A can make 200 copies in 60 minutes. Copy machine B can make 200 copies in 10 minutes. How long will it take both machines working together to make 200 copies? Now take note, mas mabagal si machine A kasi the 200 copies may isang oras siya bago makaproduce ng 200 copies. What about machine B? Si machine B is much faster because machine B can produce 200 copies in 10 minutes. Now, if they work together, machine A and machine B, how long will it take both machines work together to make 200 copies? Now, let's try to understand, the problem. The answer will be number of minutes, M. Machine A and machine B need to print. So, remember that we have to list all the important information. Machine A can print copies in 60 minutes, which is 1/6, by the way, nababa lang siya. Which is 1 over 60 for the job in 1 minute. So parang ganito lang siya, guys. How many copies can machine A produce in 60 minutes? Or in a one job, in every minute, the portion of the job machine A can do is 1 over 60. So one job, sa isang buong trabaho, okay, in every minute, ang natatrabaho lang ni machine A is 1/60. While machine B, okay, since 10 copies, in every minute, okay, ang isang buong trabaho ni machine B ay 1/10 in every minute. So, parang ganun lang siya, guys. Make a plan. The part of the copies of machine A can print plus the part of the machine B can print equals the complete job. Machine A's rate times the number of minutes plus the machine's B rate time times the number of minutes will give the complete time to print the copies. Take note, yung gaano ba kabilis si machine A, okay, times ilang minuto plus gaano ba kabilis si machine B, okay, tapos yung minuto ay magiging isang buong trabaho. Take note, isang buong trabaho. Therefore, yung 1/60 kanina ni machine A times n plus 1/10 yung rate ni machine B kanina. Okay, 1. Bakit 1 dito? Because we consider the job as one whole job. The 200 copies is equivalent to a one whole job. So we can now solve. Okay, multiply both sides by 60. The LCD of 1/60 and 1/10. Okay, so distribute 60 to the left side. So we have, you can actually have m plus 6m. Parang ganun lang siya, guys. Equals 60. Then combine like terms, 7m equals 60. Then divide both sides by 7. So we have 60/7 or 8 and 4/7 minute. So in other words, if both machines will work together, then the 200 copies will produce in 8 and 4/7 minutes. Okay. Or the machine A and machine B working together can print the copies in little more than 8.5 minutes. Parang ni-round off mo lang siya. Okay, looking back, okay, so machine A prints 1/60 of copies per minute, and machine B prints 1/10 of the copies per minute. So in 8 and 4/7 minutes, machine A prints, you have 60/7 times 1/60, it's equal to 1/7. And then 6, that's for machine, okay, of the copies, and machine B prints 60/7 times 1/10, that's equal to 6/7. And if we add the 1/7 and 6/7, the answer is 1. Another example. Cindy mows alone in 50 minutes. It takes Sarah 40 minutes to mow the same lawn. How long will it take them to mow the lawn if they work together? Take note that Cindy mows slowly compared to Sarah. Since Cindy mow 50 minutes, while Sarah 40 minutes. So mas mabilis si Sarah. Okay, so understand the problem. Okay, the answer will be the number of minutes M, Sarah, and Cindy need to mow the lawn. So let's say that the whole lawn is one job. So in other words, we're going to get how the rate of Cindy in every minute, and we have to get the rate of Sarah in every minute. Okay, so take note that Cindy can mow lawn 50 minutes, which is 1/50 of the job in 1 minute. And then Sarah can mow lawn 40 minutes, which is 1 over 40 of the job in a minute. Then let's make a plan. So the part of the lawn Cindy can mow plus the part of the lawn Sarah mow equals the complete job. Cindy's rate times the number of minutes plus Sarah's rate times the number of minutes will give the complete time to mow the lawn. So, ganyan lang siya, guys. Ang dali. Okay. So, 1 over 50 times m plus 1 over 40 times m equals 1. Take note that 1 here is the complete job. Solve. Okay. Multiply both sides by 200 because 200 is the LCD of 1 over 40 and 1 over 50. So, distribute 20 on the left side. Ganun lang siya. Then, simplify. Bakit naging 5m na lang siya dito, guys? Because 200 divided by 40 is 5. So, 5 times m is 5m. Then here, 200 divided by 50 is 4. So, 4 times m is 4m. And 1 times 200 is 200. Then, combine like terms. 9m equals 200. Divide both sides by 9. M could be 200 over 9 or 22 and 2 over 9. So, Cindy and Sarah work together, can mow the lawn in a little more than 22.2 minutes. Okay, looking back, Cindy mow 150 of the lawn in 1 minute and Sarah mows 1 over 40 of the lawn in 1 minute. So, in 22 and 2 over 9 minutes, Cindy mows 200 over 9 times 1 over 50 equals 4 over 9 rather of lawn. And Sarah mows 200 over 9 times 1 over 40 is equal to 5 over 9 of the lawn. Together they mow 4 over 9 plus 5 over 9 equals 1 lawn. And that's all. So, when we multiply each side of the equation by the LCD, you may get the extraneous solution. Recall that an extraneous solution is a solution to a resulting equation that is not a solution to the original equation.